Come in. Welcome, weary traveller, to the Outlaw's Rest. Outside, the storm is raging, but in here, all you'll find is a warm hearth, stout ale, and good company. Pull up a chair. We're just talking about AI and how it's going to affect the collection of folklore and the creation of content. But where's my manners? I'm Jack.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Josh.
We're three regulars here at the Outlaw's Rest. What have you been up to, Joe, since I last seen you?
Well, for those who don't know my YouTube channel, I am also known as the Wessex Nomad. And yeah, I've been busy as always, writing up ideas for videos and other content in relation to what I do with the Wessex Nomad. So yeah, it's all busy and active here. There's never a dull moment. I got my bottle of Exmoor Stag Ale to keep me company for this little discussion, so it's going to be good.
And Josh, what about you?
Yeah, well, I've recently come back from my my expedition around Asia, which was pretty intense, and it's quite sad coming back to the freezing cold after enjoying the warm sun. But here we are. So yeah, I'm actually also enjoying a bottle of Exmoor Stag here. Um, I first tried it when I went down to the West Country. I will say this, they've got very good ale and very good cider down there.
Basically, it's the best place in the whole Britain to go drinking.
Oof, I'm gonna challenge that again. Coming from Staffordshire, home of Burton, where we make good ale. I'm drinking a pint of Fireside from Black Country Ales. I've not been doing a lot of videos in the last couple of years. I've been taking a bit of a break, focus on family. Yeah, but I'm looking to get back into it a little bit. I've done a few streams. Hopefully, this podcast will become a fairly regular thing, and then I'll get time to go back to more regular content.
And don't forget our upcoming second collab, mate. So there's always that in the pipeline.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's what we've been up to. The topic at hand today, as I said, was AI and the collection of folklore, creation of content. I know that you, Joe, you've posted a video about this not long ago, and I think you've got some pretty strong feelings. I think that all three of us tend towards being on the anti side of this argument in terms of being opposed generally to generative content. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
If we're going to have a bit of a debate about it, a bit of a back and forth, for the sake of being a devil's advocate, I might take the pro position just because I think I do have a good understanding of that, and I think I'm maybe the closest to indifference out of the three of us.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that I'm mostly against it. However, I would acknowledge that there are a number of pros that are increasingly hard to ignore.
You put a post on your Telegram page, didn't you, Josh, about your recent video? You used a AI title, didn't you?
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. It's like, it's very demoralizing when you spend ages making a video. So, like, from my perspective, I'll do all the research myself, mostly not even from online, but from like physical books that I have. I've got quite an impressive library. And so I'll go through all that, do my reading, do my writing up, then I'll physically go drive to these places, film it all on site, come back, edit it, which takes forever, and then put it up. And especially when I've like driven great distances to do that, and it doesn't get that many views. But then you see like an AI video, which is like just pure slop, and it gets like 100,000 views. That is very, very demoralizing. So I did a video down in North Yorkshire in December, and just out of curiosity, I asked ChatGPT to make for me a title that I just put it in pretty simply, like, give me a title that will make this video like as viral as possible, give me as many views as possible, appeal to essentially just the algorithm. And it did that. And so, and this is a video, it didn't take me that long to do. It was only like a 10-minute video, and North Yorkshire wasn't a massive drive away. So, but yeah, like it's on about 130,000 views now, and it was my fastest growing video. Like the speed that it was getting those views, it was faster than any other video that I've done. And like you could oppose that on like a moral footing, but from my point of view, financially, the ad revenue that came in from that, I got like 300-400 quid from it, in advert revenue because of the views that it was raking in. And obviously that is massively helpful to me, not just in terms of like my own private life, but the fact that I can use that money to help in making other videos, all just because I used an AI title. And obviously, like, I didn't use AI to write the script, or I didn't use AI pictures in the video. The only thing I used AI for was literally the title. And so for something as tiny as that, it generated hundreds of pounds for me. And so it's very difficult to say that AI is 100% bad from my perspective, and also from the perspective of Folklore. I think, because using that little bit of AI told hundreds of thousands of people this story, and gained me a lot more subscribers. So AI helped grow Folklore in that sense.
What's interesting here is that that's a case of AI solving a problem that, well, not an AI, but an algorithm has created, because this has long been the problem with YouTube for a decade or so now, is that what's successful isn't necessarily what's got the most effort or what is the best. It's the what tickles the algorithm in the right way. You could
Yeah.
have a video that's not your best video, but if it just touches some word, some phrase, some sentence that hits it the right way, you will have that as an exponential growth video that is far in advance of anything else. And some people like Mr. Beast on YouTube, he's built his entire career out of being very, very successful at playing to the algorithm. He knows how to get the titles, he knows how to get the thumbnails, he knows how to get the descriptions in this incredibly optimized way that he's able to send his videos reliably to YouTube homepage, to the recommendations, and get millions and millions and millions of views because his videos are the best on the platform? Not really, just because he knows how to play the algorithm. So you've got the algorithm there, which is not quite AI, but it's a system of numbers evaluating what the sentences you're using are, and it's being put up against the AI you're using to create titles. So you're essentially wresting that power away from some people who have that ability and taking it onto your own. And you could say, okay, well, you're stealing it. You're stealing a skill that Mr. Beast has got there in a way. You're substituting it with an artificial intelligence. But is that a skill that we need and that we want to be rewarded? Should you, as a creator, as a folklorist, be forced to play a game of hitting the target with an algorithm in the first place?
I mean, at the end of the day, we are primarily making videos for YouTube, so we do need to play the game to an extent. So, if in like if we do want the views, then yes, we do really need to care about the titles, and we do need to study what the algorithm does favor in terms of titles and thumbnails and everything else. That's the thing, because it feels like in any other sort of platform, or say if that video was like we did a video for our Patreons, we wouldn't really care so much because we already got the audience there. You know what I mean? Whereas this is different. We're playing a different game here. We're playing the YouTube game.
No, I absolutely agree with that. That's a really salient point. Is that YouTube now and content creation depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to achieve high views and to reach people, you want one thing, but that's not necessarily quality. And if you want to
Yeah.
make something that you're proud of, you might have to live with the fact that it's not going to receive the same number of views.
Well, this is why I was glad that my Newark Odinist Temple video did really well. I like to think I nailed that video. I mean, for this small channel of 3,000 subscribers, that got like 10,000 views in a week, which for me is mental. Okay. The video itself I thought was produced well, and it's very informative. It's sort of like there was like a gap in the market that no one's really touched on, like an Odinist temple in England. Obviously that's the only Odinist temple in England. There's been no videos about it before, and it is actually a big subject, not for those who are pagan, but for those who are Christians who got a bit so to say angry, because the amount of angry Christians that were in the comment section was just brilliant. But not only that, the thumbnail I thought did a good job, and the title. If you look at the title, it says "Inside England's Only" with capitals Odinist Temple. All right, and yeah, it went mad. I've not had a video grown so fast. So yeah, that was a free thing. The video will, ruffle some feathers and get the comments going, and obviously comments help boost it in the algorithm a bit. I mean, I think that video is now on something like 600 comments, and yeah, the mysterious thumbnail with the temple and the priest in charge, and the sort of like sort of reading in title of the video. So that thing is, out of the what 80 videos I've done, that's been the only one that's really, I think, I would quote unquote nailed. I mean, like, you got the video I put a lot of work into, the one about ossuaries. I did that, well, maybe 3 years ago this year, and that's only just over 1,000 views.
So to be clear, the Odinist Fellowship video that you're talking about, you didn't use AI for any aspect of that.
Nope.
And as a ratio compared to your average video, what would do you say it did twice as well, 10 times as well?
Oh, mate, I can, yeah, I mean, let's just put it this way. I mean, like, over the last few years, my videos generally after a week might reach 500 views. Okay, this after a week got 10,000.
So that's 20 times or so.
Yeah.
And then Josh, you said this one did really well, the one with the AI title.
Yeah.
Compared to an average video for you, how do you feel that performed?
So obviously I've got videos that have done better than that, that didn't have AI titles in the past. But I mean, I'll give you some examples. Like, my most popular videos are the Blanchland village kind of ghost tour, and the Bamborough Castle ghost video, and the 25 Creatures of English Folklore video. Now, it took these videos, I'd probably say, over a year of them being uploaded before the audience kind of started to come in. So, for example, the Bamborough Castle video, I think it had been up for like a year or something, and it was, maybe pushing around 10,000 views. But then the fact that Bamborough Castle featured in the last episode of the Last Kingdom TV show, that's what like made it hit the algorithm. So these things were uploaded a long time before the algorithm started to boost them. Whereas this North Yorkshire one, within maybe a week, it was on like 80,000 views. It's been uploaded about 38 days now, and it's on 137,000 views.
Wow.
See if you can get some stats up for it here. Like, yeah, I mean, I've just never had a video grow that fast before, and
And
um,
it's worth saying as well, you've had a storied career with YouTube at this point. I mean, you've been doing YouTube 10 plus years, I think, somewhere like that.
well, kind of. I mean, I'd say that in some form or another, yeah. I mean, I set up my current channel in 2016, and back then I was just making like 2-minute videos on my phone. I didn't start doing it properly with like proper gear and stuff until 2022. But yeah, so like I said, this is the only video that I've used AI on, and that's purely just for the title. But that's how fast that it actually grew. And one thing I did notice with it as well is that the thing that kind of did make it grow, just the style of the title, is what you see with so many other videos that do so well. So the title was, "This 1963 ghost photograph still has no explanation. Dot dot dot." And when people see that, they just go on, and because they want to find out about the photograph, it kind of makes you. It, it's not clickbait, but like it. What's the term when it's like it makes people want to click? It doesn't give away what the answer is, you know what I mean. You know where I'm going with that.
I'd say clickbait, but
It sort of like raises, basically they're scrolling through, they see that, and they don't want to scroll anymore because they want to know what's what, basically.
you,
It's
you could call it a mystery box, I
yeah,
guess.
that's basically what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you see like so I quite like kind of outdoorsy kind of videos sometimes, and you'll see a video that has like let's say, "I stayed at Scotland's most haunted bothy," and then it'll be a picture of them like doing the shocked face, with like the bothy in the background, like an AI generated storm over it or something like that. And people click on it because they want to find out about it. But if the title literally listed like what the bothy's name actually was, people wouldn't really be inclined to click on it, and they wouldn't be searching for that either. So it's like, if I'm going to make a video about, let's say, a certain castle, which is any castle really, no one, for the most part, the vast majority of people wouldn't have heard of the castle. And so it's kind of almost foolish to have the title of that castle, the name of the castle in the title, and so you've kind of got to make it something clickbaity and mysterious, like I don't know, like such and such county's most haunted castle, or this castle has a dark and evil past, something like that, to get people engaged in it. And I think it's that kind of algorithm that AI has identified that like just leaves people feeling curious about it.
Mm.
Because the title isn't anything so obscure that you couldn't have come up with it.
No,
It maybe is not the first thing your mind would have gone to. So, do you think that you'd be more inclined to, in future, use that tactic yourself without the AI, or do you think you'd want to use the AI just to because it seems to know, it seems to have that dialed in? Or do you think you'd have the same success if you just tried to replicate that style of title?
I think I probably would. I mean, I did it again. I didn't use AI for my most recent video, but I did use like a similar kind of tactic, and I knew this one wouldn't do as well because it was a very niche video. But if I do one similar, like another ghost video, I probably would use a similar tactic as the AI title. But I don't want to get into the habit of using it though. That's the thing. But on the other hand, that video did make me like 350 quid. So it's like, yeah,
Huge
I can be,
incentive.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, especially like because I do everything on location. Like a lot of money is needed for petrol, and so the money I got from that video alone would you know like if I wanted to, for example, go back to Somerset again, that's all the petrol covered from that one AI title.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where the temptation is, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you did it once and it worked, but you're saying to yourself, well, you don't want to get into that habit, but if you did, it would pay off, so
Do you feel that you lost anything, or that video is lesser because it used the AI?
No, because the video itself was all purely me. I think that if I had used AI to write the script or to generate pictures and stuff in it, or to like kind of do the editing for me, I kind of feel like that would take away from my like the fact that the video would be mine. So I could change the title now and the video would remain completely the same. But if I had used AI to write the script, like that wouldn't really be my video. That would be the soul of the video would just be written by codes. And so I don't think it would feel mine.
Because I think that that's something we've had for a while, is that the use of AI there is so minor, it's so simplistic in a way. We've had for a very long time, very simple algorithms and websites you can go to, and you can say, generate me 50 band names that have to do with these topics. You've been able to do that for 10 years or so. And that's kind of what you've done at a more personalized level with the AI there. And I think that people have been doing that for so long. I don't think people generally have a problem with that level of AI usage. But as you say, once it becomes more embedded into the creative process, then I think that's when quickly issues start to arise for people.
yeah, it's been like now we have like very convincing AI music and AI videos. Yeah, this is where really the sort of disdain towards AI comes from, especially as myself, a musician and everything else. Like, I think in the early days of the channel, I was calling out AI. It's like because it sort of like gets in the way of people's creativity and it gets in the way of what people could or should be, or it just represents them as something that they could never be because they're using AI instead. So, but yeah, like you said, I mean, like the whole, yeah, this sort of the acronym AI is relatively new, but the whole thing of like, like you said, like you could do that sort of thing like 10 years ago, just getting band names and whatnot. It's not. That's actually been going on for quite a while. So there is a big grey area with this debate about AI. I will admit. But as like Josh agreed, like the where the line really does cross, if there is a line, is when you're using it to like script a video, to edit a video, to get footage, to get artwork and get that sort of thing. And then it's just horrible soulless slop, and it's just creepy, Every time I look at AI art and AI generated this or generate music and whatnot, I just cringe, I shiver up. I think, oh, this is disgusting, this is creepy, this is like ugh. I don't know how anyone could rightfully listen to this or watch this.
So in your creative process, if I was going to upload a script I'd written and ask it to do the same thing, it would absolutely demolish it. It would just be completely stripped of soul, and it would just be through this neutral voice that I can't see it being engaging in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, but this is the thing is, right? This is what I've sort of thought to myself. I mean, like AI, the acronym. I mean, the phrase artificial intelligence has been going around for like decades, but now we got this acronym AI. I mean, for example, like spell check on Microsoft Word, is that AI? Mm.
Uh, I mean, it was always a sort of algorithm, wasn't it? And to what extent AI is just a an upgraded form of these algorithms, I
Exactly.
don't have the computer knowledge to really say.
I mean, is copying and pasting, is that AI? It's yeah, and like not only that, I mean, like just things like using background remover in Canva or Photoshop, that is technically artificial intelligence.
Yes, yeah.
So I mean, like, this is the gray area. So I mean, obviously, I use for my thumbnails, I use Canva, and yeah, they have a remove background tool, which is literally just yeah, exactly that. It just removes the background, no problem. But technically speaking, and that is an artificial intelligence detecting the background, detecting what doesn't want to be removed, and yeah, going for it. Because it's not like where like Photoshop, you would like use the tool to cut around an object and then remove the background. But even when you do remove the background, it's still an artificial intelligence detecting what's cut out and what's not. So, I mean, like just other things, like just on musical software, when you're using like digital reverb or digital delay in your in your guitar VST, is that artificial intelligence?
Uh,
This is the gray area here. I mean, like,
when you're using it as a purely technical tool to say, give me 50 similar arrangements of words for a name for something, or remove a background, or eliminate this noise, I think the vast majority of people are perfectly happy for AI to be used in those ways. It seems to be when you're introducing AI to the creative element, to the decision making process, to again the bits of people that put themselves inside of it, that that's when people have the problem with it. Because I don't think most people would say that your thumbnails are worth going in the bin because you use the remove background tool.
yeah, exactly. It's, so I mean, yeah, because obviously the difference there is, I mean, yeah, I'm using the remove background tool to remove a background and then just continue editing. It's not like I've just gone into chat or whatever it is. You go into say generate me a thumbnail, blah blah blah, of this type for this sort of video, and boom.
But where does that distinction come in then? Because if I used AI to generate a 30-second clip of your voice for one of my videos, I am using it as a tool, but I think everyone would say that that wasn't on, that that was completely unreasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So what's the distinction there? What's the difference?
that's the point I'm trying to make. And then this is the gray area here. I mean, like this digital software, you know, as it progresses and progresses, it obviously it makes life easier for you in terms of like background remover and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's hard to put your finger on it. I mean, another example I brought this up with another group of like anti AI people that I know is there's that camera that the Insta 360. Don't know if you know it, but it's a really cool 360-degree lens camera. I was thinking about getting it, and then I noticed that it said, yeah, it comes with like this special AI feature that when you're editing it, instead of it uses AI to detect what frame you want to use in the 360 clip, because obviously the 360 clip um, records everything around you. But if you wanted to say it just focus on you, then you can just like there's like an AI tool where you can just like I don't know, just point at you and it just focuses on you for the whole time. And I said to him, like, yeah, this is what's this? I mean, is this like actual like the AI that we all despise, or is this literally just a tool that this camera uses? It's like surely that's no different from like
When you
doing
click on your phone and it autofocuses.
yeah, exactly. Or is it like it's no different than taking a picture on your phone and then editing it with contrast and brightness and like see and the people I spoke to about that they didn't really know what to say. I mean, others said no, that's not really AI. That's just a software upgrade. But I mean, like, another a point to I made is like, yeah, what is AI now? Because that phrase gets thrown out there so much. I mean, I think a lot of people do generally like AI and are accepting it, so they're sort of using it as a bit of a marketing tool now. You know,
Absolutely, absolutely.
almost. It's like, yeah, get this. The new iPhone has this really cool AI feature, blah blah blah. So it wouldn't have been called an AI feature 10 years ago because, like,
No, it would have been a tool. Yeah.
yeah, where did the AI acronym even come from?
Well, it just means artificial intelligence, and I
Yeah, sure,
think
but I mean, like, we knew that, but I mean, the sort of AI, sort of like that acronym just got sort of thrown around the internet. It's like, I made this video with AI. I made this song with AI. I mean, I sort of noticed the AI acronym sort of pop up. I don't know, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
what they're referring to is, I think, these models that have the neural network learning, the reinforcement learning to get better and better the more data it's exposed to. I think people have latched onto that as AI because it's the first example of these algorithms people have that can reliably beat the Turing test and uh, take on more complex tasks. And so, if you put the average person in front of Grok, ChatGPT, or many of these others, they could be convinced that they are alive in some way.
Yeah.
And so that's where if the art, the AI, the artificial intelligence was always a way of expressing this is a machine life, a machine sentience, a machine consciousness almost. And that to get across how powerful these neural network tools are, I think that's what people are using as shorthand.
Because, like, things like, for example, I don't know, you're on PayPal and you want to make a dispute, and that little chat box on the right hand corner comes up, and it's just like a bot. Now, that's been going on for a long, long, long time, right? And we used to just call it a bot, but now it's just be referred to as AI bot. You know, so yeah, this is what I mean. The whole AI thing is just getting thrown around a lot more to just basically describe things that aren't real, I guess.
I think like making the case that like blue and green don't exist because there's some crossover between them, and then like, but where is the line? And it is a difficult one. It would probably be different things to different people. I'd probably draw it somewhere, kind of saying that like where it's making things up that should be left to the human imagination. That's probably where I'd draw the main line. So in terms of artwork and in terms of text, like AI can write beautifully, and it can create very evocative pictures. But I think when it's things like that, it's so devoid of soul, I think, and I think it's hard to put that into words. And I think that's very different between like getting it to write a title or something like that, like small administrative things, like background remover. Like I make my thumbnails on like a photo editing app, and like, but I use background remover from it. That is AI, but I've used that for years, and I suppose you do have to go back and say like where did the problem really start? Because I wouldn't really have considered that to be a massive issue back when I was editing thumbnails back in 2017 or something like that. But now where we're at the point where it is easily doing things that takes humans a long time to do. So like generating a picture in seconds where it would take an artist weeks to make it, or like something that really frustrates me. I've got degrees from a couple of universities, and it was a long, hard process doing those degrees. Writing all those essays and things like that, as it was for everyone else at the time. And I finished uni just before the lockdowns, and this is kind of where I think, just after the lockdowns around this time, like what was it, 2022 or something, when AI as we know it now started to emerge. And
Yeah, yeah. As we were
you've
coming
got
out of the
people
lockdowns.
like students and stuff who can just generate a dissertation, that took me weeks, months to do, and took everyone else at the same time weeks and months to do it. That could be done in minutes now, hours if you if you put a bit more work into it. And obviously that frustrates a lot of teachers and lecturers and stuff these days when they're just inundated with AI written essays and work and things like that. And you know, it goes. It's the same thing with books. You know, on Amazon, how many AI written books are on there? And I can imagine if you're an author or something like that, you must be really frustrated. You know, having spent years of your life working on books that have taken you a long time, and then someone can come along and just use AI to produce some slop, and then they're getting more sales than you. That must be really deeply frustrating. So I'd probably say I draw the line where AI takes the place of the human imagination.
That's a really good point. A small counterpoint, or to look at it another way, is that for a very long time now, those examples that you've given have been done in ways that they shouldn't have been done anyway. So, for instance, the dissertation issue, having an AI generated dissertation that you can pass off as your own. For a long time, we've had people who are graduates or people from other countries who will offer essay and dissertation writing services. So
Mhm.
it's essentially the same thing, but rather than using an AI, the same people are just going on Twitter and finding these people and paying them 50 quid to generate their essay or their dissertation for them.
Yeah, I
And
think if I could quickly interject there, I completely agree with you, and I did consider that. But I think for me, it wasn't so much that like um, that those people can pass like I did, despite doing no work themselves. My annoyance almost comes from the fact that I put in a lot of time to create something, and even if someone passed off someone else's essay that they paid for, there was still time that had gone into that. And there's something about that that just gets to me in a way that, something that I spent months on, a computer could just do that in seconds. It makes effort seem pointless almost.
yeah, absolutely, it degrades your achievement, is what it does, and that's a very real thing. I think that in that case, it's probably an issue with the dissertation format itself, which was designed so that you could, put forth arguments without having to rely on your wit in the moment,
Yeah.
and have someone read that and confirm that you understood the subject matter that you were talking about to receive the certification. The problem is now there isn't really a reliable way of doing that. That you can't just get someone to do it online, or now, even worse, just have an AI generate it. They're pouring loads of resources into AI detection tools, but I just see more and more people saying, "Well, I didn't do this by AI, and it's been caught anyway." So if you're catching people that haven't used AI and accusing them of using AI, then I think you've really got a problem. Maybe for things like that, we need to go back to an in-person oral examination of the subject matter. But again, that'll be unfair for certain people who perhaps don't behave well under that kind of
Well,
pressure.
this was a point that was raised in like a little AI discussion of people that I work with, and someone was saying how it might need to get to the point where we have to in schools people just have to physically write down by hand their essays, but then they could just use AI and copy it all down off the screen, or if it was some kind of oral exam or test or something, just revise for it from what the AI tells them to do. So I don't know what the solution to this is, to be honest.
Yeah, there really isn't a good solution other than making sure that a person who has no access to technology is forced to communicate their understanding, which is incredibly labor intensive and again not particularly fair to some people who don't do well in that kind of situation. And that's just the dissertation angle. The AI books thing that you said about on Amazon, you got the same thing. Ghostwriters. There's so many slop books thrown out onto the market every year that fill up what used to be WH Smith, now it's TG Jones and Amazon. And you wonder how many of these were actually written by the person they're purported to be written by, and how many were just farmed out to somebody else who wanted the money for it.
It's disturbing, it really is. I mean, this is the thing, like, it goes both ways. I mean, as a creator, I don't know how, in good conscience, you would be able to write a book or an album or produce artwork in AI. And as a consumer, why would you want to support that? Why
I
would you
think
want to?
I think for the consumer, it's a mix of don't know and don't care.
Well, yeah, and yeah, that's I think is a big part of it, the apathy. Because like the thing is, majority of people out there are not creative people. This is the thing, and so for them, it's neither here nor there if it's just produced on AI in seconds or created over a period of months or years by someone really dedicating their time and effort to it. They just want the results, and they just want the benefit of the text or the art or the music. You know, I mean, especially like let's say for example, let's say like I don't know, pop music. I mean, like whereas previously, like a producer would spend millions trying to get a song together when the majority of people listening to it are just drunk people in nightclubs, right? Or people channel hopping MTV or whatever. Now, I mean, obviously, because the majority of people that listen to that sort of crap anyway is, they wouldn't care less. I mean, yeah, this is an AI generated song which some producer, well, quote unquote producer, made or but using AI generators, and they wouldn't tell the difference, and that could make just as much money. So yeah, it is somewhat of a two-way thing. I mean, I would not ever embrace anything that was made by AI. I wouldn't watch a video that's made by AI. I wouldn't support or buy artwork. I wouldn't yeah, and so on. So yeah, like I said, it's a two-way thing, really. There's the producer and the consumer.
I think
Because
another aspect to this is if AI is continuously used to the extent that artists and creators and such are getting put out of business because it's just not profitable for them to stay in it anymore, then obviously that leads to less and less and less artists and creators. So a lot of the skills that people have will end up just being lost. There are certain jobs that existed in the past, certain craftsmanships and things like that, where some of them are just almost lost forever. Or if they do exist, it's maybe like one or two guys somewhere in like Switzerland or like France or somewhere that continues it up. But he's in his old age anyway now because there's no demand for it anymore. And if AI is if it moves into a position where it's just making it like if someone wants to be an artist and they're just not financially able to do that to make a career out of it, then people who otherwise would have been great artists, so many skills, will just be lost. Because I can see possibly even art schools and such might close down, or teaching art in schools might just not happen anymore. Just throwing some ideas out here. I could be completely wrong with this.
I think that it's going to be like we have with food in some ways, and that might sound funny to say, but
I know where you're going with this.
you got the Michelin star restaurants. Now, the people who work there are going to be very highly trained chefs. The people that want that kind of food, who are willing to pay for that premium experience, they know that they're going to get that made by a chef of real quality. On the other side of this, you've got McDonald's. And let's be honest, I think if a lot of McDonald's food was made purely by a machine, the quality might actually improve. It's not even the fault of the people who work there. They've got poor ingredients, but the people who eat there don't really care what the quality is beyond a certain point. They're more bothered about the price tag of it. So you've got two very different markets there. The people who go to a Michelin star restaurant are not interested in buying McDonald's, and the people who are going to McDonald's are not interested in what wine pairings you've got and where the beefs come from.
Well, this is not interesting in good food, full stop. But yeah, I completely understand where you're going from there. I mean, there's a reason why there's more McDonald's in the world than Michelin star restaurants.
And I think this is what you're going to get with content creation and art. I think that a lot of the people that have eked out very small, modest incomes on places like Etsy or Fiverr, who have had a limited level of skill, and they've but even so, no matter how hard they've tried, they've really put their effort into it, but they haven't had very much success. I think those people are going to be completely obliterated by the complete shovels of AI slop that's going to be able to overtake them, be completely customizable, and is going to cost nothing. And then I think at the other end of that, there are going to be people who are very competent filmmakers, documentary makers, even on YouTube, who are going to have to commit to maybe servicing a much smaller, dedicated audience who deliberately want something that is more creatively inclined. People who are going to go out there and look for the Michelin star restaurant, who are going to look for the classical music of what they're doing, not just for entertainment. Because I think a lot of the time when we're chasing views on YouTube, what we're chasing is the large number of people that are looking for entertainment. There just simply aren't millions and millions of people out there who are interested in the intricate history of Bamborough Castle. At least they're not deliberately seeking that out, even if they would enjoy it without realizing it.
Oh yeah, that's very true. I mean, like, our niche is actually not as really it's actually more unpopular than you think. I mean, hardly anyone cares about history, or folklore or anything like that. We are considered the weirdos, because why the hell would anyone have interest in this, like, sort of like, I don't know, this. But let's put it this way, right? I can remember a while back. I found my sister's house, and I was like, with my nephew. I think my sister asked me like, "Yeah, how's your YouTube channel going?" or something like that. And my nephew looked at me in like sort of like excitement. Oh, you got a YouTube channel? And yeah, we put it on TV, and literally after like 10 seconds, he just turned away and started playing with his tablet because he just was not interested. You know?
Wasn't
So,
Italian brain rot, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So this is the thing. I just sort of I joked and said, "Oh yeah, sorry, no, don't worry, mate. It's just boring old man stuff." That's what I said.
Well, people have no attention spans these days. It's like if you got like a classroom of kids and you put on a film that was made in like 2024, they just sit quietly and watch it because the way that directors and such have designed the films today, it gives the kids like dopamine hit after dopamine hit, like change after change after change. It keeps them engaged. There's so much happening. But if you put on a kids film that was made in like the 80s or the 90s or something like that, the kids would find it very hard to concentrate because it's a lot more slow paced. And I think by nature of the way that our kind of our topic of folklore and such, it's always been told in quite a slow unfolding way. People listen quietly as the story unfolds. But if there's not, hit after hit after hit of exciting things happening, then people just don't have interest for that. There are ghost videos on YouTube with tens of millions of views, and you watch them, and it's so sensationalized. It's like Mr. Beast, but instead of like games or whatever the hell he does, it's like ghost stuff, like constant jumps and sound effects and like screaming and like trying to flog merch and things. I'm not going to name any channels here, but the things that we do and the things that I suppose our audience are more attracted to, it is very much more of a slow pace kind of thing. I think younger people would find it very difficult to sit through a more documentary style kind of video, especially now when the dopamine receptors have been completely fried by, well, even just like short form content. That's a huge one, like shorts and Instagram and TikTok reels and things like that. No one, especially young people, very few people are going to sit through a 15-minute video on one like particular church or castle or something like that.
Well, yeah, I
Do you-
mean, that's the reason why I took down all of my shorts on my channel, because I just didn't want to entertain that anymore. I mean, it's just I can remember like at work, like sometimes you'll see like the warehouse workers on their breaks, they'll be sat outside bathing and just on TikTok, like their face plastered in their phones, and it would just be TikToks for the whole like half an hour of their break.
Casino content, yeah.
Exactly, it's quite disturbing, really, if anything.
I don't want to like change the topic too much away from AI really, but I think very few people tend to realize how badly our brains have been fried by short form content. When I was in Burma back in October, there was, most kind of websites and things are banned there. So, there's no Twitter or anything like that. And I couldn't get data over that. I couldn't get a SIM card that would work. And so, having my phone, it wasn't really an option if I wanted to use that for entertainment, except when I could get a couple of sites in the hotel. But for the most part, I found myself, I brought with me to Asia a little notebook, um, and I hadn't used it before going to Burma. When I was in Malaysia, I just didn't really use it. But when I was in Burma and I wasn't hooked into the internet, I found so many thoughts and ideas and so much inspiration come into my mind. It almost felt like being a kid again before before the internet took over everything. And I pretty much filled out that notebook with so many ideas, things that I want to do, ideas for videos, ideas for stories, just thoughts, and enough to, essentially fill maybe like 80% of the notebook in a few weeks. Don't want to change the topic too much, but I think that being plugged in all the time, it really does fry your brain. And it's at the point now with AI where even the human creativity angle of it, it's just being reduced to basically nothing.
I mean, yeah, it'll take over in the same way smart technology did. You know what I mean? So
This is something I've seen some young people doing now, primarily Gen Z and Gen Alpha, is they set themselves challenges of what they call raw dogging real life, and they'll just try and sit there for 10, 15 minutes, not even a long length of time, but with no music, no TV, no books, just try and sit there and stare at a wall and do nothing and just see if they can manage it. Because for a lot of them, they've never gone 15 minutes of being conscious without that level, without any stimulation whatsoever, with
that's mad.
being truly bored, and it's very, very difficult for them.
That's mad. Oh god.
In 10, 15 years, they're going to rediscover, the manner of being that we had prior to 2007 when smartphones were started to become available, of just living your life in a less digitally connected way, and they're going to think it's a complete revelation. It's going to be like the carnivore diet all over again or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, I was late to the party with smartphones. I didn't get my first smartphone till like what 2015. When I was like
Yeah,
in
that's
my
pretty late. That's pretty late.
I was like, how old was I? I was like 26, I think. So yeah, I mean, I think the first smartphones came out around 2010, didn't they? Somewhere around there.
I think the first iPhone was 2007.
Well, I mean, okay, they weren't popular to the point of, where everyone had one
Yeah,
until
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
2012, perhaps. But yeah, I was late to the party with smartphones because I can actually remember I used to actually absolutely hate touchscreen phones because like the old ones used to actually like not like malfunction. Like you get a phone call, you press the answer button, it just wouldn't work. So I can actually remember one day I had a upgrade due, so I actually went into the phone shop and said, right, I want a phone, but I don't want a phone with a touchscreen. So I had like this sort of BlackBerry thing for like years and years. Not to change the subject too much, but I mean, like I said with the smartphone thing, I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, yeah, I mean, even like the workplace depends on smart technology, right? With my current job, after I had got the job officially, after I'd done all the interviews and everything else, I sat down for like a the first day, the induction or whatever it is you want to call it, and like he said to me, right, yeah, we communicate via WhatsApp. So could you please and yeah, we also use all these other apps for the job. So could you please download all these apps to your smartphone? Before he even asked me if I even got a smartphone in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think this could be where AI is going. It's just going to become the standard. You know, everyone uses it, everyone accepts it, and that is just the way it is.
Well, they won't make it mandatory, but they'll make it very, very difficult for you to operate without it.
But yeah, like smart technology. Yeah, this is where I see where it's going.
Another problem, if we kind of link this a bit back to folklore, AI is frequently wrong. So I don't know, Joe, if you remember back on your chat for your patrons, I showed how I sent that screenshot of the thumbnail we did in with the screaming skull,
Yeah.
and I asked ChatGPT, can you please identify who I am, who like because we were in the picture in the thumbnail, and it said the Jolly Reaver is the online pseudonym of Sharik Mahmood Khan, a British content creator known for his YouTube channel.
Oh
And
yes.
Boxed.
that was funny, and I said to it, where did you get that name from? This guy, like, he's clearly not Sharik Mahmood Khan, the ChatGPT responded, "You're absolutely right. The name Sharik Mahmood Khan was an error in my earlier response. I appreciate your patience. The Jolly Reaver is the online pseudonym of Sharik Mahmood." And like it just took out the Khan. And like so, in any case, I pressed it like, "Where did you get this information from?" And it kept like backtracking and apologizing and trying to correct itself. But then I cornered it, and it eventually just admitted that it had made it up completely. And if someone is writing a script on any kind of history or folklore video, are they really going to go through and scrutinize every single detail? They're probably not. Like AI in this example just provably makes things up to fill in gaps if it doesn't know them, instead of just admitting that it doesn't know them.
And the
Yeah,
audience doesn't care either. I mean, because that's on the producer side of it. So if you were making something with AI and it just came up with complete falsehood like that, that's one problem. The other side of it is that creators who are going out there looking for pure entertainment value, because as you very saliently said earlier on, folklore isn't always up to the flashy standards of current day entertainment. It's slow and it's more real. People want the ghost stories, people want the frights, they want the scares. And so when they're not getting that, people invent them. Like that thing about the woodwoes of Cannock Chase, or the aliens, or the black-eyed children of Cannock Chase that I've railed about multiple times, is that people want these things to be real because they sell books, because they sell videos. They'll make evidence up if they have to. They'll quote books that don't exist, and the audience isn't going to go out and verify that. They don't have the time in their lives. They really, a lot of them, just want the story. They just want the entertainment, and unfortunately, folklore is being corrupted because people are incentivized to chase the money. And some of these people wave that away with their hand of saying, "Oh, all folklore's made up anyway," which is going to get so much worse when AI starts to, if it starts to affect the content of people who aren't being dishonest, who would just start making mistakes. It'll become even worse.
yeah, but it's like it it might well get to the point where people feel they can only trust established figures. So I've got a pretty big following on YouTube now, and when I do videos, that they're always, the sources and such are from old books for the most part, or things that I go out and physically find in on location. But like, what's to stop me, hypothetically, having some ulterior motives and just making some things up just for, if I was running low on ideas or something, or if I wanted to make a bit of extra money, I could just completely use AI to make a random script up. I could go to some ruin that no one's really heard of and just craft a completely fabricated history around it. And because it's come from my channel, which is fairly big and I'm considered to be a trusted source, how long before a couple of websites start referencing this video when talking about this piece of folklore history, and then it's referenced in a book that someone writes, or an article for a website, or other people in different videos start replicating it or reproducing it. Like, I remember when I did my Ghosts of Bamburgh Castle video, the ghosts that I talked about in that video were um they were well referenced, and they've been documented for a very long time. There's books, for example, The Pink Lady, a book from 100 years ago that I've got that references the Pink Lady and people that saw her back in the 1920s and 30s. And I know before I uploaded the video, there was two other videos on the ghosts of Bamburgh Castle, and they weren't very popular. They were quite small videos, and out of curiosity, I just watched them. And one of them contained a ghost that I hadn't seen referenced anywhere. And of all the castles that I've been to, I probably know Bamborough, its history and ghost stories better than any other castle. And I've got pretty much every source imaginable that talks about the ghosts of that castle. And I couldn't find in any single one the one ghost that I didn't have, which was mentioned in this other person's video. There was no other source for it online. And one of the comments in the Bamburgh Castle video was asking, like, "Oh, well, where's this ghost? You left that off." And they just took it at face value because someone mentioned it in a video. So sadly, we're at the point where you can just make things up. And I'm not going to mention channel names, but there are channels on YouTube that just completely invent history and ghosts, and people believe them because they're big channels, sadly.
It's going to get worse as well, because as well as people photoshopping books and whatever, AI will be able to generate whole books wholesale. It'll be able to generate video footage. It'll be able to generate pictures, and pictures in particular are a difficult one, because if someone has a picture of something, how do you verify that it's not real? They say, "I found this from a collection on eBay. I found this from my nan's old photo album." We get back to the point of things having to be decided to be real or not by an authority, which should be, say, like a museum or some institution would have to verify pieces of evidence like that, which one isn't particularly. It's not possible for people in our position and for like regional folklore. There just isn't the manpower for it. But also, these institutions are the ones that would also be very happy in some contexts to distort history themselves for various agendas, because we've seen them do this with archaeological evidence going back to things like Cheddarman. They'll completely misrepresent archaeological findings because it fits a modern day narrative. And then are these the people that we're supposed to trust to verify whether evidence is real or AI generated?
Yeah, it's never really been easier to fabricate history.
Yeah, that's the thing, and this is why it's so important. We need more honest, authentic creators like us, basically, to make sure that we're not just making things up, we're not pulling things out of our backside, and we really are going with legit sources,
But
not just
even if hypothetically, you could be someone with the best of intentions, but if the financial incentive for doing this became, pretty huge, you could argue that every man would have his price, and all of us would say to ourselves, we'd never ever do that. But circumstances can change. For example, we could be the brink of complete bankruptcy or whatever, and we could be offered the world in exchange for just using that AI to sensationalize history. And you can only really be in that situation before you make that call, really. But regardless of what we do, so many people would do that when it reached a certain point.
well, yeah. I mean, this goes back to what the grey area I was talking about earlier. I mean, it's a tool that's there that does get results, and people might cave and just give in to the temptation of it. So I mean, this is the problem. I mean, yeah, obviously I know that people get desperate. I think it just comes to integral values and that kind of thing, really. I mean, the Wessex Nomad, it has been something that people praise me for is like it seems like a very like authentic and a very honest videos, and like they can really feel my passion, they can really feel like the excitement of what I do, and like just suddenly like if I get really really broke and I think right, the solution is to just essentially like make a complete mockery of everything I've done with the West's name ad and just go for AI and bring a lot of money in. I mean, I think you know I might make a bit of money, but the loss I would have made of what I've built with the West's name ad over the years would just be completely gone, and that would be the biggest loss of everything. So it really does come to those sort of like artist integrity and what the individual's values are, I guess.
We're
But I mean, we're
moving we're moving back to a very old style society where your name and your reputation are going to be very, very important, I
exactly.
think.
I mean, like if we can get away with like a whole YouTube career, quote unquote, without using AI, I think you will be looked up at basically, rather than someone that just used AI for the whole thing. That makes
Okay.
sense.
I don't know about you guys, but if I want to watch something on YouTube, if I see that the thumbnail is AI, I just won't click on it.
Same. Yeah, same. It's like
Although it is becoming harder and harder to discern what is an AI image and what is just a very filtered, touched up image sometimes.
usually I can tell straight away. I mean, I've got the eye for it. I just see it immediately.
You see yeah, yes, I know what you mean. It does feel like that. But increasingly recently, there's been more videos and more pictures I've seen that I've really strained at, and I've come away going, I just don't know. This could be real, or this could be like absolute cutting edge. Back in the days when we were counting fingers or things just looked a certain way, it was relatively easy for the average person an average intelligent person to tell. But now I think we're really getting to the point where some of the images are becoming indistinguishable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if we're not there now, we will be shortly.
I mean, there was that famous AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, wasn't there? And like that was like back when like the sort of AI video thing was getting popular, well, just starting really, and like it sort of blew up the internet, and people like sort of having their minds blown. But it was a very glitchy, and you could tell it wasn't real. But then like a few years later, someone like did like an updated version of it, and you could barely tell the difference. And it's quite scary how fast this has developed in such a short space of time.
I've seen in particular people using video degradation and errors to their advantage. Like what I've seen is like people posting what should be security footage from a sort of grainy camera, and it looks 100% real. And it's actually people know a bit more specially about the intricacies of video that have analyzed it and gone, no, this is actually AI, even though it looks completely convincing. And that's the stuff that's starting to come out to YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and things like that now on the cutting edge. So there's people who've had that technology and have been more advanced than that for a while now.
Look, could you imagine what like our governments are sitting on? If we have this technology now as the public, what does the government have?
Trust nothing, trust nothing at all.
Exactly. So,
Maybe we don't have a government. Maybe everything on the BBC News has been AI for the past 5 years.
it's not as far fetched as it sounds.
At one point that I'd quickly make as well, in my the video that I mentioned before with the AI title, there was a couple of mistakes that I made in the video, and one of them was a camera term. I said the wrong word just when I was reading the script that I'd written. I said the wrong word, and a few people picked this up in the video, and so I put in the comments like correction. This is what I actually meant in the video, and it really frustrated me because then I'm thinking like, oh, if this wasn't getting so many views, I'd take it down and fix it and do it again. But I just left it up because it was raking in a lot of views. But then I kind of thought, you know, I there's a part of me that doesn't mind so much that in my videos I have made some mistakes, be it like a slight audio error or saying the wrong word or repeating the same line, which I think I did in one video a couple of years back, because that is proof that I'm human and I make mistakes.
exactly. I mean, look at me. I'm not really the most articulate person in the world. You see from my videos, I'm stuttering sometimes when I talk, and sort of umming and ahhing as well. But yeah, like you say, that just shows it's a real person. I've never claimed to be like I'm not an academic. I'm just a normal bloke that just loves his history and loves traveling around and exploring. And this is what I mean. I don't need an AI to do this for me. Yeah, it's better to coming up from a guy who just clearly is passionate and just shares what he knows. But like I
Y-
said, it all comes down to how the consumer goes about views it as well. So
Do you think that the two of you would continue to do it, even if you were completely overtaken by AI slop and essentially false folklore? Like, even on your darkest day, where you're putting money into this, getting absolutely nothing out, it's costing you money. Are you still going to be there doing it without AI, just for the love of it, or to
well,
achieve something in particular?
I mean, with the West Name ad, it's just still small channels. You only got 3,000 subs, and for the last 3 years, that's exactly what I've been doing it just for the love of it. So, I mean, for now, yeah. If this is the thing, I'm not a full-time content creator, so it's hard for me to answer that question properly. But I mean, like I said, for the last 3 years, that's basically what I've been doing, just like putting money in and not really getting any money out, and just doing it because I love it. So I can't speak for Josh though. So
Yeah, no, 100% I would. I think, well, for me, it is something that I love doing as well. Even if I was only getting like 50 views for a video, I'd still do it because I love doing it. And when I first started out, I was getting no views basically, but I did it because I enjoyed it and I liked watching it back, and I liked the fact that things that very few people know. I mean, I could actually do a lot better, I think, by covering more mainstream stories. So there's a reason that I've not done stories like the Loch Ness monster, for example, because it's been done to death. The videos that I focus on are lesser known stories in British folklore, and it's great when that does well, but a lot of the time, it can't compete at all to the huge channels. But that's because I really don't want these things to be lost, and I want to share them with people who are interested, but don't have the resources and the books and such that I do. People that are interested but wouldn't know where to look, or these old sources, they're written so long ago, they need to be brought they need to be given a more modern script, and they need to be accompanied by music and imagery. So I think I would, even if I was getting completely swamped by the slop, because I'd still have an audience of dedicated people as well who are interested in the truth, and I feel like I'd owe some kind of duty as well to the people that believed these things and came before us, just so that what they believed and what they knew and what they thought isn't lost forever. If there's only one voice left that's telling it as it was, and there's still people that are learning that, then that's not as tragic as it would be if there was nothing there.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I've done everything I've ever put out just to try and preserve stuff and make sure that when people come along in future, they have an easier time finding their way back to those original sources, or sometimes maybe can find copies of those original sources that are becoming scarce on the ground. So, when I get back to it, nothing to do with money or even numbers and views for me, because it's never been about that. Although it is useful incentive and motivation. Is there anything else that people feel like they'd like to say on the topic of AI, or around this discussion? Anywhere else we need to go with it?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we don't want to kick the can down the road. I mean, like, there's not really an answer, is there? I mean, it's just a case of like, yeah, where do your values lie as you pointed out, as a producer and a consumer? So, well, that's just to see where it goes. I think it'll go two ways. It'll either really take over everything, or it'll just crash and burn. So we'll see.
I think my prediction is that it's not going to be easily stopped. There's going to be a lot of slop. Some people are going to get sick of that. There's going to retain a core of people who are really looking for specialist, niche content made without it. And there's going to be a lot of people for whom it's about money and views who vanish under the tidal wave of AI slop. And there'll be people who are doing it like you guys, just for the love of it, who are going to keep on going and maybe find a new audience in the people who are specifically rejecting that down the line. Who knows?
I mean, there's a current growing trend of people that don't use smartphones. So this might be the latest thing, like the trend of people that just reject the AI.
Well, once it gets to the point where the slop just completely saturates the
Saturate.
market, then people might well find escapism in real content. In the same way that people, they seek solace in the countryside to get away from screens and things like that. People might just get so sick of fake computer generated stuff, it becomes nice for them to see a real person on the screen.
It's quite depressing, really. But like, I mean, rest assured that to my viewers, yeah, AI will never be used for anything in a West Its Name ad, because I just don't endorse it. Full stop.
Okay, so that's not the highest note to go out on.
Mhm.
I would have liked it if we'd solved the issue of AI once and for all, and saved humanity, but perhaps beyond the purview of our little pub here, the Outlaws Rest. So I thought maybe we'd gather round and have a look at a trailer that is of interest to us. This is for a film called The Death of Robin Hood, which is supposed to be coming out this year. Obviously, with Robin Hood being such an important figure to English folklore, I thought we'd have a look and just give our impressions on what we think's gonna happen with it. Has anyone seen this?
No, actually, I've seen like news about it. I've seen like a few posts on Telegram about it, but I haven't seen the trailer yet. So I'm intrigued.
Do you want to watch it through once and then come back and comment on it, or should we just stop as we go?
Let's watch it through once continuously, then come back.
Okay. So for the audience, for copyright reasons, we won't be able to show you it all the way through unbroken. There'll be a link to go and do that if you'd like. You'll pick up with us watching it back bit by bit once we've seen it for the first time. So see you in a few minutes. Okay. So what are our thoughts?
What even was going on? Was like, say what? Robin Hood's a bad guy.
Doesn't seem to play with popular tellings of Robin Hood, does it?
Yeah,
So
it's
I
like,
think with a lot of trailers for films, you can kind of some of them you watch and it's like you've seen the entire film and you know what's going to happen. But with this one, I'm it clearly Robin Hood's the bad guy, but I'm not sure like, what the point of the film is. I can't really tell anything about it.
is it? I mean, like, what did it say? Like, his legacy was a lie. Is that what it said?
Yeah, it said his legacy was a lie. He's not a hero.
Right, so where did they get that from? I mean, is that actually from a source somewhere, or is that just like this is completely made up? It's like,
Oh, I think this is going to be 100% sourceless. This is just an action film borrowing the name of Robin Hood. I think.
I mean, you could do that with anyone. You can say that King Alfred was a bad guy. You could say that bloody Hengist and Horsa were bad guys. You could, yeah. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, this is like, is this meant to be like a sort of mockery of English history and folklore and whatnot?
Well, there was always kind of like a whimsical nature to Robin Hood. Like if you, it's some of the old stories, he'd behead someone, and but then would go back with his merry men for singing and drinking and foot stomping and things like that. And he's like the archetype hero for the English people, and always standing up for this. The stories advanced over the years, and things were added on. Characters were added on. People like Friar Tuck and such, they didn't appear until later on. So there has always been a development in the general idea of Robin Hood, but consistent was the idea that he was a hero. And this is turning that on its head. It's making him out to be the bad guy. And Robin Hood and the very idea of him, it provided like romantic inspiration for people that were downtrodden in whichever way. And people could interpret Robin Hood in different ways, I think, in the past as well. He could be a figure of pious Christianity. He could be people, I could see anarchists, taking him as one of their own. You can see him as a figure in English nationalism. You could see him as a rural kind of guardian figure against the urban. There's so many ways you could interpret Robin Hood. And I think now in this age, we live in a period where the most heroic, the most revered people in the past are now being demonized, and Robin Hood is just yet another person to throw onto the pyre here. Nothing sacred.
I mean, I think Robin Hood, at his core, sort of typified the idea of that being moral, being the good guy, isn't following the rules, isn't always following the letter of the law. It's to do the right thing for people. Sometimes you have to stand up to who is in authority. And this is coming along and saying that whole legend is a lie. I think looking at it from the age of what Robin Hood's supposed to be here, from the title, The Death of Robin Hood, my prediction is this film is going to be set after the bulk of Robin Hood's famous adventures, after he's done his robbing the rich and saving the poor, and it's going to turn out that all that was some lie, that we're not even going to see. It's just going to be presented as straight up lie, and then this is going to be him trying to redeem himself at the end of his life and live up to the legend. That's what I think this is going to do.
Yeah, it's loosely based on the story of the death of Robin Hood, in which he's poisoned and dies in, I think it's a nunnery, and he fires his last arrow from the window, and where it lands, that's where he's buried. So it's loosely based on that, I think, in terms of the context. But something else that I remembered that I'd like to bring up is, has anyone seen the 2010 Ridley Scott Robin Hood film?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't, unfortunately.
So that's again, that's a different take on Robin Hood. In that version, he comes back from fighting in France with King Richard after the Crusades and things, and the real Robin of Locksley dies, and this guy who's just a standard peasant archer kind of guy, he assumes his identity and goes back to Robin of Locksley's estate and takes on that identity from there. So he's pretending to be someone else. And it wasn't the worst of films. There's some good parts of it. I quite like it. Certainly doesn't hold a candle to certain other Robin Hood films, but I quite like it in some ways. But at the opening sequence, there's music and like the titles come on and such, and there's this scene where it appears where there's parchment and then writing appears on the parchment as the film is introduced, and the writing said, "In times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history." And interestingly, when Amazon put this video on Amazon Prime or whatever their film streaming service is, they completely removed this part. And when when the opening sequence came on, it was just blank parchment. This was, I think, May 2025.
Mm.
So I think we, not to get too political here, but it seems like the idea of the Robin Hood character being very anti-establishment is something that is trying to be poo-pooed these days.
It makes you wonder whether that was an Amazon choice or whether they were asked to do that by any one of a number of governments.
Well, I looked into it, and there was a huge backlash to it on social media, and Amazon came out saying that the version that they'd been given um, just didn't have that in for some reason, and so then they did change it and put it back in. So I don't know whether they caved to public pressure or whether there was actually a reason that was quite nefarious as to why that was taken out. I'm not sure. I can only speculate here, but
A
I did find that
strange
quite.
implication of this shadowy group of people distributing films to people like Amazon who are
Yeah, this is
deciding
this is
what we want to watch.
this is why it's important to own physical media.
Absolutely, 1,000%. That's not, and we're not even, again, we're not even talking about AI here, but this is digital content manipulation. Um,
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think I said something to you in passing the other day when we were talking about this. I made the prediction that this film was going to make the English out to look uncivilized and barbaric, and I said they're going to have us walking around with pig poo on our face. And I think several points in the trailer, that's literally exactly what happens. This girl has a grubby face. Later on, in a fight scene, his face is full of mud or whatever it is. It's several points throughout the film. They've just gone to great lengths.
There's no color in the film.
There's no. It's a very desaturated film. England is in permanent fog. Like every shot that's
Mhm.
done outside is in heavy fog and mist, and it's bizarre. We are a wet country, but we're not like
That
that.
bad? Yeah. Oh, that's a weird one.
I
Have
think
you?
the best Robin Hood film is the Errol Flynn one, and that is such a colorful film. 1938. It's from. It's I have it on DVD, and it's flooded with such beautiful colors. But even the Ridley Scott one, that's just gray and filthy as well. Every medieval film is like that, though.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't know what Robin Hood films I've seen and what I haven't seen. I haven't even seen like is it the Prince of Thieves, the series that in the 80s? I haven't even
No,
might have
that was the film with Kevin Costner, I think.
oh, okay, sorry. Well, yeah, the series that was in the 80s. I haven't even seen all that yet. So
Yeah, it is.
got to catch up.
Hugh
Um,
Jackman with a face full of pig poo there.
But Hugh Jackman, isn't he like he plays that superhero?
Wolverine.
Yeah. So like it's kind of like a superhero-y. I'm getting superhero like vibes from the film, just like that kind of action genre kind of thing.
I'm a little bit out of the superhero genre, but I think he's taken the Wolverine character in a bit of a Clint Eastwoody direction, sort of gruff old man kind of thing, and that looks like what he's doing here as well. Sort of end of his life, trying to make up for his mistakes, kind of thing. He's American, isn't he, Hugh Jackman?
He's Australian.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, Australia. So Hugh Jackman's Australian. Bill Skarsgård, he's the other one who's in this. Bill Skarsgård. He's Swedish. He's the one who plays Pennywise the clown famously in the film It, the modern
I
retellings of
wonder.
it.
So the theme of stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, it seems almost too predictable that they'd frame it like he's stealing from the rich to give to himself or something like that. That does seem too predictable to me. So I think there's probably going to be some other twist that shows him to be a bad guy. I'm not sure whether that's
Mm.
just murdering people for the sake of it, or like framing the sheriff or something to be uh, tough but fair, and Robin's causing the breakdown of society by being against rules that are in place for a reason. These things to me seem too predictable, but again, it wouldn't I wouldn't put it past these directors to just go down that angle.
I think looking at it aesthetically, it looks to me like someone's seen The Northman and gone, I want to have a crack at that.
Yeah, it's annoying because we have the capability to make really good films. Like the cinematics for that Ridley Scott Napoleon film was really good, but the storyline was just trash. They completely well, any fan of history or Napoleon will tell you how they really did Napoleon bad in that film. And it's just that seems to be the thing that that a lot of directors and films focus on these days. They find great men or men that accomplished great things and just try and tear them down to make them look like frauds or to make them look weak and pathetic.
Yeah, is often the case, unfortunately.
And Americans don't have a great track record of trying to make the English look heroic.
Exactly. I
This
was
this is decidedly an American film made in the United States. Bill Skarsgård, he's a Swedish actor. He's playing Little John, but he, as I said, he's been big in Hollywood with the It franchise. Hugh Jackman, Australian, but has been over there doing Wolverine with the superhero films. The director of this film is Michael Sarnowski, who is born and bred United States, but hasn't really done anything that I think people would recognize. This seems to be him trying to do a bit of a breakout here. Yeah, why couldn't this have been done in the UK with British actors?
Well, we should probably do another one of these after we've all seen the film and then come back and say what we think.
yeah, sounds like a good idea. I mean, maybe let's all just go to the cinema together and sneak a microphone in and sort of give a running commentary.
I'll be, I mean, yeah, I'll be up for like a proper full length review of the film together once we've all seen it. I don't know if a release date has been put out yet or not.
Yeah, I rarely go to the cinema, but yeah, I'll check this one out. Can't remember the last time I went to the cinema. Years ago, many years ago. I think the last time I went to the cinema was to see the Joker.
To be honest, there's not too much point. If you wait about a week or two, it'll probably be on digital distribution. You can watch it at home.
Yeah,
The way of things these days.
But taking aside the fact that this is trying to ruin Robin Hood, which obviously we're against. I love Robin Hood, but it just even if it wasn't about Robin Hood, I don't think it looks like a good film. Like if this was about just a neutral character that wasn't Robin Hood, and I saw this trailer, I wouldn't particularly want to go and see it. It does look like a watered down Northman kind of copy kind of film. If I was a director and I had so much money and funding and connections behind me, I'd like to do a film about I'd call it Little John or something like that, and it would be a film about what happens to Little John after the death of Robin Hood.
okay.
Because there's Little John, he wasn't from the Sherwood Forest area, I don't think. He was from Derbyshire, and his grave is in Derbyshire. You can go and see that today. And so I think you could probably make a good story about what happens to him after the death of Robin, and be it like the collapse of the Merry Men, or like the or him just leaving it and the rest of them remaining intact. There's a lot you could do. I think Robin Hood has been done to death because there was another Robin Hood film. I think it was 2018 around that time, and it had Jamie Foxx and that other guy, Taron Egerton. I had to look that up there, and that was just like a kind of superhero-y action film. Like the sheriff's guards in that, they kind of looked like modern Americanized like military police kind of people. It was one of those films that just uses almost modern imagery to. I can't even remember what the point of the film was really, or what message it had, but it certainly didn't feel very medieval. It was just like an action film. The poster looks like Die Hard or something like that. So it's a shame there hasn't been a good Robin Hood film for a long time.
I tell you something that's crossed my mind from time to time is like at some point maybe branching out and doing less sort of folklore investigations and maybe retellings of things. Like it, I don't know whether it would be interesting any of you at some point, but you've got the cameras, you've got the editing knowledge. Um, I don't know whether there's a way we could do sort of low budget versions of short stories or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I kind of, did you see that video I did last year of the sort of a tribute to the Blood of Satan's or the Blood and Satan's Claw film? I was at that church ruin in Bixton, Oxfordshire. And I just basically sort of like acted out scenes of that film in that
Yeah,
video.
it was good though.
Yeah, I want to do something, yeah, like that. It made me think like I could just do like a sort of like a short film, a short folklore horror film. I just get like content creators I know to join in.
Obviously, that sort of thing interests me. If you remember, I did the an animated remake of a Yuletide wassailing video a few years back.
Yes, I
And,
remember.
and my videos are always full of like little animation bits. So that sort of direction's always up my sort of street. But anyway, my drink is getting empty now. I think I'm going to head off at some point soon, fellas. So should we wrap up? Shall we?
Yeah, it's been it's great to finally get this ball rolling because we've been talking about this for a while. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, Josh and Jack. So yeah, this is a new thing. This is going to be up on what platform? Spotify and YouTube.
I think Spotify and YouTube primarily. I might also stick an audio recording on Telegram. For some people who just want to listen to purely audio only there as well. I don't know how regular this is going to be. Did we say once every 2 months or more frequently than that?
Well, hopefully once a month, ideally. So we'll see how it goes.
So if people want to comment other topic ideas that they have, then that would be very welcomed.
Yes, do that. So if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, subscribe and yeah, comment below what you want us to talk about more and what you think about what we've spoken about tonight. Get a conversation going.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got questions you'd like us to answer next time, or if you'd just like to give your two thoughts on the AI conversation, let us know what bits we missed out, and maybe we'll shoot back around to it if there's something particularly important that we need to bring up again. But if not, thank you very much for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed your drink. I hope you haven't got too much of a headache after listening to us prattle on. We've had a good time, and we hope to see you again soon. We hope you come back round. Thank you very much, and good night.